Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast, where we provide constant improvement to businesses through timely, actionable financial solutions. Do you want answers to your financial questions? Email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com. Now let's get started.
Welcome to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. I am joined by Henry over here, one of our many fine managers. How you doing, Henry?
Doing well. How are you doing, Mark?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, I'm here in front of this gentleman. He's going to give me his incredible financial advice, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So, Henry, you're a CPA, right?
I am.
Perfect. As a CPA, how has that role changed? I mean, so you've been doing this for years, so let's actually kind of start there. What was it like as a CPA when you first started?
So I had a totally different type of job.
Tell me about it.
So I actually worked for companies for 11 years coming out of school. I guess I didn't do my CPA until 2015. So the first 5 will say I was not a CPA, but I still do.
You're still doing finance
CPA type of stuff. Just didn't have the designation. And so back then, I mean, we printed. We printed a lot.
Did you fax a lot too? You were at the tail end of faxing.
Not so much faxing. But one of the companies I worked for was on an AS400 system, which if you don't know what that is,
I don't.
That is that system that it's black background, green letters.
Okay, I know
and
exactly what
you
you're
enter
talking
in
about.
hotkeys in order to get to the different modules.
But you know, those systems are fast and they're efficient.
Super fast.
Yep. You know, those hotkeys, you're
I will
gold.
tell you, when we moved to Microsoft Dynamics at that company, there was an issue with speed that wasn't there.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But it was literally the print job is what would make journal entries post.
So tell me how things have changed, because really the big question is how it's evolved in this year and kind of where CPA is going in the future.
So, I mean, the biggest thing, and it doesn't matter if you're in industry, if you're in public accounting, there's a lot more automation than there used to be. Like I said,
great, right?
We printed a lot. We would handwrite stuff. We would calculate stuff on paper. The 10 key was our best friend.
Just for the camera's sake, how much paper do you think you printed in a year? Was it like this much?
More.
Like
I probably
just
do
the entire
more.
Table here.
So I do have clients that have enjoyed the printed tax returns still. And I guarantee I've got a few pretty big stack tax returns. Like we're talking like a foot tall tax return that would probably contend for even back then. We would print tons of paper and everything was handwritten. You have manual filing systems and all of that fun stuff. What you've realized in today's world, all the documents get scanned in. They get saved to an appropriate place. It's so much easier to find something.
They're in a secured cloud server now, right?
Absolutely. And I guess, so in the old days, if someone pulled that, invoice or paperwork or lease document or whatever out, and they never put it back, that was gone.
It was gone. It's like somebody took a book from the library. It's not there anymore.
You might spend days trying to reproduce that document.
Or calling somebody back. Can you please reprint this invoice, right?
And in today's world, it's there. And even if someone accidentally hits the delete key, IT is usually smart enough to figure out some magic way that they wave their wand and make that file magically reappear. So, we don't spend the time that we used to digging through the paper documents, looking for lost pieces of information. We do still do some of that stuff, but it's all done in a much more efficient manner. There's a lot less hand keying in things. So, automation, ton less of that. If you even go back further than when I worked and people hand wrote their, general ledger on a big stack of paper with the copy paper with the hole punches on the sides and the perforation. Yeah.
You get here's your pink copy, sir.
Yep. All of those things have taken a huge leap. In the past few years, particularly, you've got tons of automation. Particularly, AP processing is being automated.
What is AP processing?
Accounts payable.
Okay.
Yeah. So, paying bills. AR processing, which that's the other side. That's the receivable.
That's account receivable. I do know that one.
So there's some automation being built there. POS systems now integrate into your accounting software. So you're not, running your POS system and then manually hand keying that information into your ledger. We haven't gotten quite to where tax software, which I would love this, reads your W-2 that you scanned in and punches all those numbers into the tax software. I would love that.
Maybe when we do it next, maybe we had this conversation next year, it'll already be there. And you're just going to be like, that was the best thing.
We haven't gotten there. So these are all the changes that have happened of late. So what is that going to do to us? I hear the noise from, people like, hey, is AI going to replace the accountant or all office jobs or attorneys or bankers and even the dude that, takes your order at the fast food restaurant, right? A lot of that is now computer automated now. I am not that concerned. What we will become is you're going to have to get some aptitude in, design engineering and it doesn't have to be formal. You can still, lean on your accounting principles, but you're going to be the people that maintain this computer software to make sure that it is doing
its job.
Supposed to do.
Well, and the simple fact is that these laws change, right? So yes,
Absolutely.
you can program a computer, and that's what happens in our own software. That's not AI driven. It's you still have to plug in the right information. You still have to use your intuition and say, like, this will actually work best here. This may work better here. You just have to be able to look at it and understand. So really, it's taking more of the tedious labor, right? Like writing this down, printing it out. So really the role of a CPA and really what you've done more of over the course of the year sounds like you've just been doing more advising, more communication, more being there for your clients.
That's what we're going to have to evolve into. We're not the paper pusher guys that you imagine with the 10 key and the little visor in the basement. We're going to, also beyond having that technical aptitude to maintain the systems, we're going to have to learn a little bit about people's businesses more than we know today. To help them not just be tactical in the sense that, for processing or getting the tax return out, but how do we advise them to make the best strategic decisions on a quarterly, monthly, annual basis?
So I wanna pause you, Henry, because I think we've finally, in a roundabout way, gotten to the actual answer to the question of the role of the CPA. So correct me if I'm wrong. It's specializing for their clients.
Absolutely.
Being able to determine, okay, you are a restaurant, you are automotive, you're a factory, you're a large-scale factory, you are a tailor, whatever it is, and really figuring out what is the best solution for them.
What's the model?
So there's the answer.
What's the model, and how do we get there?
Yeah. And then once you've figured out the model, then there's refining it, right? Because the codes change every year.
Well,
like
there's
what's
a new
different
model.
Yeah. tax codes change, or this benefit may be applicable for you this year that wasn't last year because you've either grown or let's say you've shrank in the last year.
Absolutely.
Just staying on top of what's right for your business.
Yep.
Wow. All right, that was it. We have answered that question. So is there anything else you want to add to that then? Is there anything where you're like, man, this little tidbit of knowledge is the only thing we're missing? What do you expect next year? Aside from trying to be the perfect CPA for someone, is there something else you expect to see coming out?
Besides being the perfect CPA.
Well, the perfect CPA is a dream, right? But what I'm trying to say is there anything else that you think is going to be added to a CPA's kind of list of skills to make them even more exceptional for our clients?
I think the other thing that we can be used for,
Okay.
and this isn't a new thing, because of the way that our brains work and we're logic driven. I've also found we're very good at being the source of objectivity. So you have a decision,
Mm-hmm.
and you're the business owner, you're the sales guy, you got all the energy, but you got a decision to make, and your heart is telling you don't make that decision.
Okay.
Your brain is telling you yes, make the decision. The CPA will help you
Kind of guide you one way or the other.
guide you, and it'll be more likely to be objective about it. You know, passion's important in business.
Nope. Yep.
But sometimes you got to make that leap, and they'll help you crunch the numbers and say, you do this is probably what's going to happen.
And then you can decide from there.
We do say that as well.
Yep.
We also say we do not give legal advice.
That's like at the end of every sentence, we don't give any legal advice. I've heard that a lot today.
Yeah, I mean, we are very good at being objective and numbers driven, taking the emotion out of it. And I know in my career, that's been a sense of worth for many people that I've worked with.
All right. Well, that's perfect. So thank you very much, Henry. That's the end.
You have been listening to Kaizen Time, part of the Blood, Sweat, and Business podcast. If you like what you hear, subscribe and leave a 5-star review. This podcast has been brought to you by Kaizen CPAs Plus Advisors, providing advisory and accounting services to help you grow your business. Learn more at kaizencpas.com or email us at bsb@kaizencpas.com.